Hi guys, it's Rosianna here with my second reaction video for TARDIS-tacular on the episode of Doctor Who shown on the 10th of May in the UK called The Doctor's Daughter. I actually really like this episode. I liked it a lot in terms of the people in it. David Tennant, his acting was, again, as it always is, ever improving, ever incredible. And also of Georgia Moffat, who's actually a local actress. She lives really around the area where I live. She was in local press, so that's really cool. I thought she was great. I really liked Jenny. As always, there are so many great lines in this episode. And to start kind of chronologically, the first notable one comes right at the beginning, is I don't know where we're going, but my old hand's excited about it. And the whole not impossible, just unlikely thing that was going on, that was at the beginning and then repeated later after the whole entrapment bit with Jenny, where she does all the flips over lasers. Even though that had been in all the adverts and all the promotional stuff for the episode, it was still really cool. I really like the bits between Martha and Donna, where they're kind of like sharing their experiences as companions. It's very reminiscent of Rose and Sarah Jane. It's kind of different as well, and I really like that. I feel like Sarah Jane's experiences with the Doctors were kind of completed and in the past, and something which she's really had the time to properly think about. Of course, it's with a different Doctor entirely. Donna and Martha, you know, it's the same 10th Doctor, and there really wasn't that much time between the two kind of experiences. So I love the bit when they said, when the Doctor's trying to work out where they are, and I think Martha said, it's that feeling you get. Donna said, like when you're swallowing, like you're trying to swallow a hamster or something. You know, completely random line that if I'd been slightly less attentive, I would have missed entirely. Joe Dempsey in this episode, and I know a lot of you, especially if you're a British audience member, will know him from Skins as Chris. And I knew he was going to be in this episode, but still, when I first saw him, I was like, wow, it's Chris! I thought he was really good, actually. I think he did his character well. And I do like how the, what are they called? Not quite clones, but the reproduced people from skin tissue. I like how they weren't clones in the sense that they had their personality. I mean, they had certain traits, like they had that desire to fight, and that's all the Doctor sees at first. No, I really like their personality. And they have those traditional kind of combat hero skills, like karate chopping and going out in protection of everyone else and sacrificing the soldier for the greater good. I must say I'm still not used to the new theme yet. Not the new theme, but the extra kind of drums in the background. It makes me really like on edge and excited. My GCSE science knowledge came flooding back to me at the mention of haploids and diploids. I think there was a good amount of technobabble. I think it worked well. I think we got that Doctor back, technobabble Doctor. And generally, just Jenny was awesome. She reminded me of the way I felt about Sally Sparrow, like a real intelligent character. And Renette as well. You know, one of those characters that isn't permanent, and you really know that they won't end up becoming another one of the Doctor's companions, but just really sharp, and I liked her, and you know, really adds food for thought to the Doctor's life. When she says something like, isn't every soldier trying to stop the fighting? And she, you know, that's not something that I think the Doctor's thought about. To him, soldier just means guns and death. I liked the lack of CGI on a personal level as well. I loved the mention from Donna of places like Kew Gardens and Hounslow Library, which are just so local to where I am. The hats in general I really liked. They're really cool. I like their gills and they like their bubbles. Although, you know, I think it also worked well having an episode where the TARDIS translator isn't quite so effective and we don't understand every word that the alien is saying. I like the numbers thing as well. I thought that was clever, the numbers and dates. Because it wasn't an overly complex explanation. When he told Cobb to look in the dictionary under genocide and see a picture of him, of the caption, over my dead body. That scene where you find out that Jenny's actually got two hearts was amazingly acted, and I really did love Donna in that. I mean, the whole she belongs with us thing, she's I think Donna's the most maternal of the at least from the new series. She's in touch with them in a different way. And again, just to see David Tennant act that bit with the Doctor, and script writing as well, they deserve massive credit. Everything associated with Time Lord means so much to the Doctor. It's everything for him. I wonder if the Time War is gonna be of massive significance at the finale of this series as well. I mean, the rate I'm going, everything's going to be significant, so I can't really be wrong. But the line to Jenny that she was only an echo, that a Time Lord was so much more, and his laugh when she asked if the Time War was like the one that they were having, and he said that it was bigger, much bigger. His lines break my heart. Comedy factors: Donna's womanly wiles is all I'm going to say about that, and the Clockwork Mouse, which came to such a sad end. I was genuinely devastated when it perished. Are you an anomaly too? I can't say that, it's really hard to say. That is what the Doctor is, but it's not a bad thing. Love the running. I love that turning point in the father-daughter kind of moment. I mean, even though it wasn't genuinely her father, because obviously they can be like, yeah, you know, back in the day, Romana and I, we procreated, or Rose, or whoever they want it to be, Astrid, who knows, I'm sure it's not impossible. The conversation about how killing infects you, and the line, you always have a choice, reminds me of some revision that I'm supposed to be doing for existentialism. And then his pride when she's flipped over through the entrapment scene, as I'm going to call it from now until forever, when he calls her brilliant. Says, "You're brilliant." And then later she says, "Thank you, thank you, thank you." It's that relationship. It was established so quickly, but it was so perfect. To go from that kind of relentless joy into his grief when he says, "When I look at her now, I can see them." I know a lot of people aren't very happy that the Time War is mentioned a lot. People are like, a bit like, well, you know, get over it, mate. But I don't think that would be right. I like the nod to the Doctor's flower name knowledge. In Jenny's death, the line, "A new world," it's beautiful. And you saw the Doctor as a father whose world, current world, not a new one, was falling apart. And in Doctor Who Confidential, they said that Georgia Moffat said that, you know, she didn't mean to cry, but she saw this devastated man towering over her and she couldn't help it, and I think that lent a lot to the scene. I don't think it would have been as effective without her tears. And the line, "You're going to be amazing," just had me welling up. In that moment when she shuts her eyes and you can see the loss just pass over the Doctor's face, his realisation that there is a hope for regeneration, and then his helplessness again. And just all these little lines that were just filtering through this episode, that she was too much like me. His curse of being the last of his kind, he would never wish upon anyone else. He would never wish that disattachment he feels from his home, which he can never get back, upon anyone else. He knew that he fell for her, and in doing that, perhaps he thinks that he hurt her more. Lays her down, kisses her on the forehead, and gets up and says that line after a bit of gunplay that I never would. I'm just really blown away remembering it. But I did notice the fluttering eyelashes slightly, like the eyelashes weren't completely still. So I knew that I had a very strong feeling that Jenny would return. And I liked the symbolism, well, I thought symbolism of Joe Dempsey's character asking the Doctor if they could have a ceremony. It was like asking the father's permission, acknowledging the direct relationship between the father and the daughter, even though the daughter had so much in common in a way with someone who was generated from a machine like she was. It did seem a bit Romeo and Juliet-ish, as in the Baz Luhrmann version, where he just misses her, just misses hints of the fluttering eyelashes, hints of the regeneration process, and you just think, if only he'd stayed a little bit longer. When Donna said to Martha that she's going to travel with that man forever, talking about the Doctor, that makes me really worried, because it's screaming foreboding and, I don't know, destruction of some sort. And all I have to say about next week is Agatha Christie. Oh my gosh, yes.